Hi guys, it's time for episode 2 of Modified series, and well, before we go any further, before the intro and everything, we need to talk about votes from the last episode. The Project Metallurgy and Project Batman were a tie, and based on my votes, my points, the Project Metallurgy is going further into the competition, let's say. And well, that's all there is to it. Intro! Okay, so today we have another 4 builds, and this is the lineup. We have AKMode from Taiwan with the Project Abyss. We have the Bazz builds with the Project Fallout, mods by Phloon with Kiny Build, and SS mods with Shadows Project. So let's go, guys. So let's start with the first one. We have AKMode Build Project Abyss, and let's start with the cable management. I don't think I have to talk too much about cable management because you can see here everything is perfectly designed, and how the cables go through the plexi part cutouts and through the plate that goes and covers the whole middle part of the chassis of the case from Thermaltake. And this is really cool, guys. The cables that are actually seen in the build are nicely arranged and without a doubt brilliantly organized. So based on all of that, 8 points for cable management. Now, taking creativity into consideration, removing the motherboard tray and placing everything on plexiglass is something that you need to arrange, and where the cables will go and how the pipes will go through. This is something that you really need to take into consideration, take your time to properly organize and to calculate everything, how everything will look. Basically, the whole case is outstanding from both sides, so there's no doubt about that. The bottom part of the case has a special fan grille design, and with the white LEDs on the fan, it really puts the build in a completely different perspective. So 7 points for the creativity. 2 distro plates, all sides covered, nice pipe work, cables are immaculate, and the whole color scheme of going completely black with white LEDs, with white lights, is something that works just fine. For this final design and for everything, how he managed it, for some of you might be a bit confusing with all the black pipes and the black pumps and the black, everything black with plexiglass and white LEDs. It might be confusing to, you know, to see where the pipes go and everything, blah blah blah, but still it's a nice project, so 8 points for the final design. Now, talking about the execution, some pipes don't look straight, but maybe the photos make it look like that. So probably the photos are playing tricks with my eyes and how I see and how I perceive everything. Looks clean, organized, mentioned everything before, and I can only say that even the pipes have markings which really look cool. Everything looks solid from plexiglass panel to the front distro plates, so without a doubt 7 points for that. Talking about quality, you can see the distro plates, you can see the plexiglass where you place the motherboard, the graphic cards and everything, and I did mention that already. And the whole project and everything he did inside the case stays inside the case. There's nothing going outside of it, so except for the panels and everything, but you can still carry it around to the events, as you can see in his video parts that he managed to actually get it to the event without any problems whatsoever. So basically 8 points for the quality and the design and everything he managed to do. Now it's time to jump to the second build. This is Bazz builds, the Project Fallout, and this is something completely different that we've seen so far. Taking into consideration that we have here a completely different build than usual, as I said, the cables are done really perfectly, and that is actually just because of the rust and everything, and that it has the devastation look and the whole, I wouldn't say biohazard, but that would mean I'm talking about my build. Actually, I would say adding destroyed cable combs on those cables would look really perfect. So basically would add some more diversity to the build. You wouldn't have all the cables scattered all around, but still 7 points for the cable management, since he managed to incorporate everything into the build as it should be. Talking about creativity now, rust is somewhat tricky to create sometimes, and I know that from personal experience. Now, comparing this rust from Fallout to my Biohazard build and the imitation of rust, I would say this is a real deal, because it looks much better than the ones that I did on Biohazard. And all sides of the case are perfectly modified. You can see all the fallout and the rust and the colors going all through around the build and inside. So every single detail is accounted for. Definitely deserves 9 points for creativity. Final design is practically brilliant. Everything is in the same color scheme, no jumping around with different colors and sticking just with the blue, yellow and the rust brownish color, which is nice, and it really combines nicely with everything. Only the front pipe worries me a bit, but after all, I did build a front reservoir on Sinestro build, so that is a completely different story. At the end, carrying this case has to be planned perfectly, and just because of the front pipe, so it doesn't, you know, make a mistake or it doesn't start dripping or leaking or anything like that. So basically 7 points for the final design. Now execution of the build is something that you need to take care of when you're taking some parts into consideration and managing everything all together. Now the crucial parts have a rust on the case, and the thing is to look after. My thoughts on the graphic cards and going full rust on the backplates is maybe a bit too much. I wouldn't place whole rust on everything, but that's just my opinion. Especially the rear side where the 120mm fan is, the whole side is full of rust, and I would maybe do some diversity over there and change it a bit. But hey, I'm not the builder here. But all in all, 8 points for the execution, because it does really make that rust stand out and really give you the fallout look of everything. I'm not sure how the rust will fall off or actually ruin the whole build after a certain amount of time, because you need to take into consideration the cleaning of the build, and since it doesn't have a slick top or slick side where you just slide the cloth over it and swipe up the dust, this is something where you need to use the dust blower or anything like that to remove all the dust from the case. And then you have to take into consideration also that when you do that, you might get some paint or rust falling off if it's not done perfectly. Now, even though this is the imitation of it and it looks really good, I can see how will the parts changing thing happen. That is also something that will probably take the rust off, for instance fittings or I don't know, screws that are attaching the back plates of the graphic card. So basically 7 points for the quality design, because, well, I said everything. Now let's jump to the mods by Pylon and the Kiny build. Cable management is done, is just amazing. I mean, check out the custom parts where he placed the plexiglass parts where the cables go through and right through the back of the case. It really has a nice color scheme. The pink and black look really outstanding together, and with the white plexiglass everything looks nice. But the cables are really nicely arranged. The only thing that I don't see at the back of the case and how it looks, so basically I will have to go for 6 points on the cable management. The front side is perfect, the back side is question mark, so 6 points. Creativity, I would say it's simple, minimalistic looks, clean design while adding some colored plexiglass. He did achieve a certain look, what he was aiming for, and there is no doubt about it. My thoughts on that are brilliant, but absolutely and definitely the parts that cover the radiators need some pink lines. I would say they really do need some pink lines on the white plexiglass parts, and because of that 6 points, because that will add definitely more into the build. And of course I have to mention that I don't have pictures where the rest of the case can be seen, so the top and front and the back side of the case might be untouched completely. So yeah, 6 points. Final design, As I already mentioned, everything clean, nice, minimalistic. From the pictures I can see if anything is done from the outside, but hey, I mentioned that as well. The interior is done accordingly with lovely bands, nice clean look, nice clean design, easy to carry definitely if you didn't do anything from the outside. But yeah, I would really like to see the exterior of the build, so 5 points for the final design. Execution, I do see some flaws here on the plexiglass parts, and definitely not on all, but on the top and front mountings of the radiator and the plexiglass white that are covering the radiators. I don't know if that is from the bends of the plexiglass. I don't know if the plexiglass was colored afterwards, but still those are the things that are really bugging my eyes, so 6 points for that. And we have quality here, taking into consideration the last parts of the scoring and everything I mentioned so far, another 6 points. I think that's quite alright. I'm not saying anything against his work, he done a really nice job, especially with the pipes and color scheme and everything, but those are the points for that. And finally, last but not least, we have the SS mods with the project shadows. Now, cable management, you don't see any cables except 24 pin and the 8 pins for the graphic card, and that's all there is to it. All the cables, all other cables are nicely hidden, so without a doubt I don't have to talk too much about it. 9 points. Creativity, taking a case, changing completely everything from the interior, from the exterior, calculating everything, doing a CNC cutouts from steel, from plexiglass, and placing the ATX board in the chassis, adding that huge MSI graphic card, the Lightning 1080 Ti inside. That is something that really needs to be done carefully, and because of the creativity, well, practically 8 points without a doubt. Now, final design, I don't have to mention that guys from SS Mods are doing an incredible job with every single build. But cool thing is the possibility of mounting the radiator as you wish, so you can move it. They managed to do it, I would say, a flexibility on it with screws and everything, but that's something I think if I have to do every build in details, every video for each build will be 10 minutes long, so yeah, I'm not going to do that now. But one thing is on my mind, and that is dust. I know this case is designed for events and showcase and presenting people what could be done with some innovations and stuff, but still, okay, you can blow it out, blah blah blah, everything like that. I understand completely. I do like the looks, it looks really nice. The cuts on the plexiglass and all the panels, pipes, I mean, even the naked SSD looks really sick inside the build. So all in all, 8 for the final design. And talking about execution in a way where you need to, as I said, I mean, I mentioned this already, you have to take the calculations from the interior of the case, so you can place the ATX motherboard, so you can place the graphic card, place the mountings for the graphic card, the front, top, bottom, rear panels, placing the plexiglass, everything is just calculated brilliantly. SS Mods on this project deserve 9 points. And the quality, all steel chassis, easy to carry, even though that part isn't crucial here, but pipes are holding like crazy, so you can take it anywhere, line party if you're still doing that privately or something like that, events, showrooms, everything, it can be carried nicely, and it's very, I think it's very light because we're talking about the small Q300 case from Cooler Master. I see no flaws in the cutouts, no flaws with the CNC cutouts on the steel, on the plexiglass, and that is what I love about high-end custom builds, and definitely this is the one build that should be placed in that segment. So 9 points for the quality, guys. Now, scoring for each build is very interesting, and guys, you will really need to vote on this one because AKMod scored 38 points with the Project Abyss. We have Bazz builds with the Project Fallout 38 points, so there's a tie over here, so your votes will have to do the judging. And Mods by Pylon with the Kinky build scored 29 points. And finally, last but not least, as I said before, SSMod's Project Shadow scored staggering 43 points. Now this is so far the biggest points ever. Basically, your votes are now needed to see who advances to the next stage based on your votes, guys. Write down in the comment section one build, only one build that you love from all of these four, and I will calculate all the votes, and well, next time we will see who goes further with the people's choice. In the description you have all the specification of all four builds, and you have all the links to the builders' social media for a shout out and for you guys to show them your support by following their work. And finally, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and of course subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for watching the episode 2. My name is Dario from PC Crazy, and guys, see you next time on the next episode of Modified series. Mod on, guys!